Okay, today is February 3rd, Monday. And in today's paper, it talks about, how the hospital, corrected things, yada, yada, yada. It really, is, of course, more propaganda because it doesn't, take into account what happened before and why the procedures had to be fixed and everything else. It also, goes to show you that, the sheriff's integral part in all of this, and of course, the natural finger pointing. Now, you must remember that I went down to San Francisco General to go back to the Sheriff's Department there to ask them to follow up, and you saw where their deputies told me that it was not allowable for me to videotape, and when I asked them for that law, of course I wasn't informed. If you also look back, you'll see where Mr. Winters told me that he would not give me a civil standby escort or whatnot to San Francisco General so that I could feel safe because I'd already been illegally arrested there, and I pointed it out to him and pointed out, the notice to appear and, asked him about my cameras and, everything that a victim should be able to ask and receive answers for, and of course, you saw how that was handled. So I'm back to follow up. Now, you have to ask yourself a couple of interesting questions. One of the main questions is that, the sheriff, you've got to remember, is, like I've said many times, the lapdog for DPH. He's not there to protect a citizen's rights for security and, what laws, he should be enforcing. He's there only for the other side to deny. You'll also notice that if you look back, at the 30-something second video where the sheriff, told quite a boo-boo and basically stated that, they'd offered to escort me to DPH. Well, all you gotta do is go back to the 11/27/12 video where you'll see that I asked and was refused. Oh, and in addition, in that video, you'll see the assistant sheriff and the sheriff, of course, speaking about videotaping in public places, and that, of course, they were gonna tell everybody so that everybody would be knowledgeable. Now, ask yourself the question, when I went back to San Francisco General, was that not the sheriff's personnel who told me that I couldn't videotape and then couldn't quote the law? And mind you, this is after the new policies, after, the Spaulding thing, after this glorification here in the paper about how successful things are. Continue to learn the games, because I am here to continue to point them out and, of course, naturally seek what I'm legally entitled to and have been constantly denied. It's 9:30 Monday. Yes, I'm here for either the sheriff, the assistant sheriff, or Mr. Winters, to continue to go over all the matters that haven't been properly addressed or resolved.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Garza.
I will call, but do me a favor, Mr. Garza. Please don't run your tape recorder when other people come in here, because the thing is, there's confidential business sometimes, and I know you put it on YouTube, so just out of courtesy, don't do that.
Sir, well, I love your allegation.
No, you did it. I mean, it's not.
But you'll also notice if you look at the. Can I please say something in my defense? Thank you. You'll also notice, if you've looked at all my YouTube videos, that I've never tried to invade anybody else's privacy. I actually set the camera down away, and somebody might step in the frame, but it's not intentional, deliberate, or anything else.
You know that what the penal code is on that, right?
The penal code is that they should have no expectation of privacy in a public place.
That's not true. That's not true.
Well,
we
could. You mean like the source that I asked Mr. Williams about, and the fact that when I was videotaping at San Francisco General, I was arrested illegally for that.
Okay, let's not even talk about that.
Thank you, let's not.
So my point is, I'm going to call Sergeant Winters, but if someone walks in, you got to remember, they don't know that they're being recorded, so please don't do that.
Well, once again, you're impugning my intentions, and my intentions are not to do that, and I will try to comply with you as best as possible, but I do not like the spin. There is no deliberate. If they don't know that this is a video camera, still, it does not affect, my rights to be able to videotape in a public building.
No, but there's also attorneys that come here too, I just want to let you know that.
Well, then, those people should be taken into a private office. Thank you.
We don't have a private office.
Oh, excuse me, there's plenty of closed, locked doors here.
That is not part of civil, so I just want you to know that.
That is not my problem, whether or not your facilities are appropriate.
I'm not trying to argue with you.
Me neither, so thank you.
Okay, but when you do that, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
You can ask me to leave. You can
And then
go
please
ahead
comply.
and ask me to leave. You know, it's been done repeatedly, and it'll
I'm
still
gonna
go on
call-
YouTube.
I'm going to do what you want. I'm going to call Sergeant Winters.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much I just wanted to tell you that, and I'm not trying to argue with you.
I'm not either. I'm simply
Well-
trying to defend myself against your allegations, as specious as they may be. Thank you. I will take it under advisement.
Okay, so I'll call. And I just
I'm
wanted
still waiting for you to call.
Yes, but if I'm
But you're
gonna-
also waiting for me to acquiesce to your request, which I will not. Thank you.
You
I
will
voiced
not.
my opinion.
You will not.
Acquiesce? No. I will express my defense. I will tell you that it's not intentional. I will continue to prove my case, and if you want to continue to spin it, you know, you
I'm
can.
not spinning it.
That's your opinion. We'll let the YouTube viewers decide.
Well, you should
Thank
look it
you.
up, Mr. Garza, since you're the expert. Let's go. Hey, Sarge, we have Mr. Garza. Okay. This lady wanted to bring this in. Basically, she's from the domestic violence place. And she said she was going to bring in the TRO. She wants the rest of it to show up, so it's not going to be honest. Well, he wants to talk to you. Actually, no. No? Okay.
What's up, sister? Hey, is this you? Huh? What time is it now? You know, Sarah's here, so I figured out you don't need me. Yes, I do need you. Now that you were trained and yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do my thing. Okay, I'm gonna sit here. You know what? The only thing I don't have is for a BART going to and from the airport. Can I just print out the cost? Okay. Huh? I don't think she takes video. This is so I can get a little more money. What is that? It's a little ambient so I can get a little more money. Keep it. How was it? It was really, it was good, except for, Gani was the, I got a picture of her being the bartender. Check this out. No. From the tilt top? So you're at the bar. Did we have happy hour? No. Hi.
I was told to come here to look for 56, so that is my son's mother served.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Hey,
Morning,
Mr.
Garza.
Winters, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Could you do me a favor and sit over here, please?
Why, does the light fall better on my face?
Well, honestly, I was just scolded and reprimanded for, if anybody walks in behind you. So if you're over here, I can't be pointing the camera at somebody who might innocently walk in behind you, and
Am I innocent?
well, that's the whole point. I've been falsely accused, so I just want to do everything I can to mitigate that
I
accusation.
understand. We also need to keep our voices down so that they can conduct
I
their
understand.
business.
All right. What I wanted to speak to you about was a few things, and first of all was, last time I was in, you told me that I couldn't give my complaint to 25N because I had to do it behind closed doors, and I asked you to, cite me that code. You cited it to me. Can you please explain it to me again?
So there's a section in the government code somewhere in the 3300s that says that, I don't know it specifically, but complaints need to be taken behind the closed doors.
Okay,
Privacy.
so you don't know it specifically, but you didn't look it up to see it.
No, I didn't look it
Okay,
up.
but you understand what I'm saying. I mean, you're just
Yeah.
relying on what
Well-
somebody else has told you.
Yeah, there's law libraries all over the place.
Oh, no, because I did look it up and I have it here.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yes.
Oh, cool. So
Well,
you-
of course, and here it is. So can you show me where in 3300 it says what you're claiming? Because it doesn't.
Okay, it's more than just. 3300 is a large section, so.
Trust me, 3300 deals with, yes, the investigation, but not the taking of the complaint. A total apples and
Okay.
oranges.
Right,
Total,
okay.
but
Yeah.
then again, I expected that. It doesn't say that you can't give your complaint or where you should or shouldn't. It speaks to the investigation after the complaint has been received, sir.
So, Mr. Garza,
Correct.
can I explain something to you?
Well, no, I want to follow up on your explanation of this.
So
First of all,
let's play it from this side of the fence. So, like, let's say I, Joe Citizen, wanted to make a complaint about you to somebody, right? Would it be fair if I made a complaint about you in a public forum, and if the complaint
are
was
we
later-
talking, sir? I don't mean to, please finish.
and let's say the complaint was later to be unfounded, but I've made this complaint about you in a public forum, and I've disgraced your name, I've disgraced your character in a public forum, right? And now everybody thinks, oh, this Mr. Garza, now he's a bad guy, he does this, he does that, because of what I've said. But what I've said is false, right? And you're making, so...
You mean slander?
Yes, slander. So
Well, I could be charged for that then.
right, so
Correct.
you're making a complaint about an officer in a public forum that could be overheard by other people. Same difference. Not same difference, same concept, same idea.
And that officer
So-
could sue me for slander afterwards if it was proven false. But that is a specious red herring, but lovely evasion. Anyway, let me continue
So
because
same idea, so that's the reason...
the same idea does not apply.
So that's why
I
we
just
take-
showed
that's
you
we
why.
take- That's why we take the complaints behind closed
No,
doors.
no. And another, thing, and another point is,
Okay.
while you're arguing all these feelings,
Well, I'm
it
not
was the
gonna
law.
argue this out.
It was the law that you quoted me incorrectly. So let me ask you a question based on your interpretation of the law. Does that mean that when you took my complaint on 9/12, which is on video, that you didn't break the law because I did it in a public place?
We didn't talk about the complaint. We didn't...
I have the
verbalize
videos,
complaint.
sir. I did speak about it, and everything else. I did ask you questions. We did talk about it, So I want to know, because you just told me that you couldn't do it per 3300, but
Right, I
yet
didn't
you
take-
did. So now, I would like to understand, did you break the law?
So, two things. One, I'll answer your question, but first, I didn't take a verbal complaint from you. I only took the written complaint from you. So, if you want to bring up charges against me for breaking the law of 3300, go for it. I don't care.
Well,
Sure.
I'm not trying to bring up
Apples and
any
oranges.
charges. I'm trying to hold you guys accountable to serve and protect. And
I don't
so
think I
far,
broke the law,
and of
but-
course you don't. Just like you didn't break the law when you sent me down 3300 that wasn't correct.
My
Of course you don't. Yes, your interpretation, just
My
like
interpretation of breaking
642A
the
that
law
was
in this
incorrect
position
for
would be if I
wiretapping.
set up the tape recorder
et cetera,
and
et
took
cetera.
a verbal complaint
Thank you.
of what the officer did.
Now,
Taking
moving
the written
on.
complaint and you writing down, I'm not answering specific questions about the complaint, just general questions about how to fill out the form. Not specifics about the deputy's name, about the...
And did you not
Not
tell me
specific
last time
about
I
the
was here that
complaint.
you didn't take complaints that I'd have to go to 25NS?
Yes.
Please deny that too.
This time, in this instance, we were trying to help you out with the situation. But since every time you go to 25NS, you insist on filming
which is not against the law because of your bogus 3300 quote. Correct. Shall we move on? Now, let me tell you. Now, let me tell you, Mr. Let me tell you. Let me tell you, please, Mr. Winters. I'm not trying to raise my voice, but are you familiar with Penal Code 148.6?
148.6?
Why don't you look that up, because that regards taking complaints and the fact that you must.
148.6
Yes.
regards to taking complaints. Do you have it with you?
No, I think you can
Okay.
look it up, just
I
like
can
I looked
look
up
it
your
up.
3300.
Sure.
You know, because now, mind you, you're the one who's been to the police academy, who should know the laws, not me. And so far, I've been incorrectly quoted the laws. Now, another thing I have to ask you about is, I went down to San Francisco General, and there's been a lot in the paper, you know, about Mrs. Spaulding's death and how procedures have been modified and how much things are better and yada, 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 and naturally more risk management. But, you know, dubious of whether any of it means anything because the results will still be the same. I went down to San Francisco General, and I was told by the sheriff's person there that I'm not allowed to videotape. When I asked them to quote the law, they told me they didn't have to.
Correct.
Thank you. That's correct, that they don't have to answer,
We
you
don't
know,
have
when
to
they
quote
say something.
specific penal codes and laws to you.
Yeah, but when you advise me incorrectly, you know, and like her, you know, when she's incorrect, there doesn't have to be any accountability for that either, correct? Because now let me refresh your
Different
memory.
situation.
Let me refresh your memory. On 11/27/12, with that gracious handling that I had by all those people in that big meeting with Ross, I believe it was Paul who's, you know, quoted about whether it was allowed to videotape in public buildings or not, and everybody was in agreement, and everybody in the department was going to be informed. Apparently, the sheriff's department at San Francisco General, which is, you know, instigated such new policies to make sure that they don't mess up, you know, under the guise of advocacy or whatever. Apparently, they haven't been trained in that either. Oh, and let's not forget the last time I was here, I asked you for civil standby to go to San Francisco General so that I would feel safe. You know, now, you know, first of all, I'm being fed a porky down there by, you know, not being told the truth. You know, I come here and, you know, I receive your handling, or maybe we should appropriately phrase it as mishandling. You know, geez, I came in last week, the sheriff, you know, told a boo-boo, you know, that you guys had offered to escort me to DPH when on video. You know, I asked and you guys wouldn't walk me across the street. Where should I go die, Mr. Winters? Because I realize that even when I'm dead, it's only the rich and the powerful with lawyers who can get you guys to be accountable and perform humanely. And, you know, I don't matter. This has been going on for how long now?
So one last thing I'd like to touch on before we finish here
Please.
is at the hospital, one of the things you need to be conscious of about filming at the hospital is there's a lot of patient rights there and patient privacy. It's called HIPAA.
You're talking to me about HIPAA.
Yeah.
The
So-
person who knows about HIPAA, who's been refused his medical records at San Francisco General over HIPAA. Yes.
Right.
So, and you're talking to me about this. I know you want me to leave, and you're talking to me about this, having given me all the incorrect information when it came to the law and everything priorly.
So yeah.
And,
so you
and that
just
was
can't
also
go-
the, and that was also the same thing about the expert.
So
All right.
you just can't go filming through SFGH willy-nilly.
In the public places I can, as long as I'm not
SFGH has
filming
a lot of
somebody else.
different patient things going on.
You mean the ones that never applied to me? So now, will you go with me to SFGH, you know, to ensure that I get my rights protected there, like you keep claiming?
119 control works there.
Is that a yes or a no?
No, I can't make.
Of course you can't.
Of course not.
Of course not. I understand. I don't accept. And that's the difference. Well, no, it's just the truth. But trust me, I will be back to continue to show the farce. You know, and like I said, do I have a meeting with the sheriff? Is anything going to get corrected? Do they care? My interpretation. I thought they were here to follow the laws. Well, you guys decide, you know, and then ask yourself, is there any hope? Is there any humanity? You know, did they really fix anything at San Francisco General? Or is that just more bull? Well, I guess you'll see what kind of patient advocacy I get when I go back to San Francisco General, you know. But, you know, all I can tell you is that, you know, I will continue to do the correct thing in an incorrect society. Thank you. See you next week. Or maybe this week, whatever the case may be.